Chrono Cross is a hard game, oh yeah, and it does have its huge catalog of hard bosses. But today I'm gonna show you what I consider to be the 10 hardest bosses in this game. Of course I'm gonna leave the final bosses out, because in my opinion that will be cheating. Usually in JRPGs the final bosses are the hardest, right? So it's kind of pointless. And please remember that this list is based on my own personal experiences with these bosses and how much I struggled with them. And with that clarified, let's begin! Number 10. The Hydra. The Hydra is a very peculiar boss. It can be very frustrating to die against her if you didn't go back to save after the fight with the dwarves, so for starters, don't forget to do that. This is a very annoying boss, mainly for its status effect attacks. Putrid Odor not only leaves your party with the Brace effect, but it also causes massive damage to them. Brace is a debuff that reduces your attack power. She's also quite fast and has a lot of HP, 700 points. And at this point of the game, where most of your attacks don't even do 20 or 30 damage, that's a lot! Green elemental characters should stay away as the Hydra is yellow and her attacks will do more damage to them. Near her death, she'll buff herself up and debuff your party with 2 spells. That's when things will start going to hell. So the combination of being fast with a lot of HP and with attacks that do damage and status effects at the same time earned this ferocious monster a spot in my list. Number 9. Garai. Unlike most of the enemies you'll see in this list, Garai is a really hard boss, but not because of its magic attacks, but because of its physical attacks. He has these nasty skills called Triple Cut and Wheel Breaker. The former can cause fatigue to one character and do a lot of damage. Wheel Breaker can cause sleep, anti-white, and massive damage. This bastard is really tough because he uses these damn attacks too often. He performs a regular attack and then Triple Cut, then another regular attack and then Wheel Breaker. Rinse and repeat. His element is white, but that doesn't stop him to cut down tons of HP from your allies, especially Lynx. Nearly with 2000 HP and 77 points of attack, but fortunately his magic defense is very low, so your best bet is to use black elements galore if you can. The best way to survive this guy is to have the best armor available at that point of the game, or use elements like Diminish to reduce everyone's physical attack power, even him. With some patience, he will go down soon. Number 8. Son of a Gun. The name of this jackass should be Son of a Bitch, not Gun. This is one really annoying boss for all the wrong reasons. Barely any HP, so it won't take long to take down, but you'll die a lot because of its high defense and resistance. No matter what you do, even if you use black elements, as this guy is a white elemental monster, you won't do a lot of damage here. And at this point of the game, you don't have access yet to high level black magic. The one thing, however, that prolongs this battle and makes it so frustrating is the boss's change of mode. He uses that to change the expression of his face, and each one means he'll behave in a different but nasty way. When smiley, for example, he causes damage with a kiss attack and may put your character to sleep. When angry, he will cast nasty white attacks against your party, sometimes twice in a row. If he uses Holy Light, you're pretty much dead. The best strategy is to use black elements and get lucky. That's right, hope he doesn't abuse certain skills, or hope that his status effects miss on your characters. Number 7. Luxaider. This massively armored bull is a pain in the ass to fight. He has 3000 HP, and it may not sound that much by the time you fight him, but because his physical defense is high, it can be very troublesome. Fortunately, his magic resistance is low, so take with you white elemental characters and destroy him with black elements. Why this guy is so freaking hard is because of his stats, like I said, but also because he can use Magnify to considerably increase his magic damage. Immediately afterwards, he'll use a powerful elemental spell, pray it won't be Omega White or Ultra Nova, the highest white attacks possible. Do not let the field effect be completely white, else he'll use the Unicorn Summon and buff himself up. This battle will take time, but with the right elements and with patience, he'll go down eventually. Number 6, Gravitor. This bull is bullshit! He has the exact same elements as the Luxaider. They're twins except for their elemental difference. Gravitor is black, and that's a problem for your main character, Surge. Literally, that's the only reason why this boss is harder than its twin brother, because if he abuses black elemental attacks against Surge, he'll keep dying over and over. My strategy is the same as with the previous boss in this list, but using black elemental characters and white spells for battle. Again, don't let the field effect go all black and try to heal as much as possible. Actually, this is a good time to mention that several tips for fighting this or any boss in this list can be found pretty easily on the internet. Protecting Surge is of top priority, as he is also the one that will do the most damage to this bastard. Number 5, the Black Dragon. Once more we're facing a black elemental boss, but fortunately you fight him with Lynx, who's of the same element. That, however, is your only advantage, because the Black Dragon has almost 4000 HP and it's really tough to take down. If you thought the Hydra or the Green Dragon were annoying with their status effects, wait till you fight this nasty monster. He'll often use a spell that can cast the darkness status effects on your characters, causing damage and lowering their accuracy. Sure, you will try to focus on magic attacks, but remember, this is a game where you need to use regular attacks to be able to use more powerful elements, and that's the tricky part with this douchebag, besides having also some real nasty physical attacks. One other advantage you have is that his magic attack and resistance is really low, but it's still quite nasty to fight. Funny thing is that there's a way to avoid the battle against him, but you lose one level. Remember that fighting bosses is the only way to level up in this game. I suggest you always fight him. He's a tough customer, but it's worth it. How do you avoid the battle against this guy? Oh, come on, look it up on Google. Number 4, the Sky Dragon. Yep, this is pretty much the leader of all the dragons, and he's by far the toughest of them all. Yes, he has very similar stats to the Black Dragon, so that means your magic attacks will do the most damage. Problem is, you also fight him with Lynx, and he cannot be taken out of your party. Can you imagine how many times he'll die because the Sky Dragon casts some horrible white attacks like crazy? Sometimes in a row if he can. The nastiest are area of effect attacks, most specifically the deadliest of them all, Ultra Nova. If you even survive that one, congratulations, you may have a chance of beating him, otherwise everyone will be dead and it's game over. I swear every time I fought him, because I was dying a lot, I was praying he wouldn't use Ultra Nova twice, or that at least I could beat him before he used that or Holy Light. There are ways to protect yourself better from these spells, but nothing at all that completely counters them. This is by far one of the hardest main story bosses in the game. By the way, I think it's important to mention that if you use Fargo against every single dragon, you can use his last skill to steal their elemental plates. Those make you immune to the element they belong to. Number 3, Cryosphinx. This is an optional secret boss you fight on the Earth Dragon Island in another world. There's two ways to beat him, but fighting him, in my opinion, isn't worth it. One way gives you no reward at all, and no level up, not even stats up. The other way is extremely hard, and it gives you the sunglasses, an accessory you can equip to increase elemental damage for one character. It's a cool accessory, but definitely not worth the huge trouble for getting it. It turns out the Sphinx gives you a questionnaire at the beginning. You will receive no damage if you answer correctly. To answer, you need to use the right element, no matter its level and no matter its type. Get the 6 elements, or rather answers, right, and he'll let you go. That's it, you get nothing! So, to get the sunglasses, you need to beat him with brute force. Yep, good luck getting down his 30,000 HP, which is the highest amount in the game for one boss. He does super ultra nasty yellow attacks like Earthquake or Thunderstorm that do massive damage to your party. If you stole the yellow plate from the Earth Dragon like I told you, you can tank him with just Surge or Lynx going solo, but you'll still need to watch out for his physical attacks. This is pretty much the hardest boss in the game, but you don't need to fight him, and in my opinion, it isn't worth it. Number 2. Dario. While the Cryosphinx might be harder than Dario and with way more HP, Dario is totally worth fighting. First of all, his side quest is really interesting and it's connected to other characters like Karsh and Riddell. It's also connected to important parts of the main plot, but the biggest reward you get from putting up with this bullshit battle is the Master Mune, the best weapon in the game. Dario, however, has 3500 HP and both 130 points of attack and defense, 60 for magical defense, so even if you abuse elemental damage, he'll still survive several attacks. The first problem is Dario is one tricky son of a gun. Sorry, son of a bitch. Sorry. Wait, what? Anyway, you cast one spell and he will immediately counter with the opposite element, be it an attack, a buff or a debuff. Using white elements against him as he is weak to them will make him counter with something black. Do not use black elements on him at all, he absorbs them. Last problem is that Riddell is forced into your party for this battle. Sure, she's a good healer and a powerful mage, but she's a white elemental character and very weak to physical attacks. On every single attempt I made, she died quickly and wasn't even worth keeping alive near the end. A good tip is to tank him with your other two characters and use red elemental attacks. Why red? Cause he will counter with Numble, lowering your evasion rate, and that's the less hurtful debuff you can get, so yeah, go with that strategy. Number 1. Miguel. There's no contest here, no doubt about it, Miguel is the hardest boss in Chrono Cross. I think he's this hard because of plot reasons, cause beating him doesn't leave you satisfied, but I won't spoil you why. Although after dying several times, I have to confess that I screamed in excitement when I first beat him. Disadvantage number 1. Lynx is weak to white elements and this guy abuses them way more than the freaking Sky Dragon. Disadvantage number 2, often he will use both buffs and debuffs in a row, get several turns consecutively, and ultimately destroy your party. I know you probably love Harley as much as I do and she's a very powerful black mage, but trust me, it's best if you change her for someone else in this battle. Any black elemental characters will die early. Miguel has almost 2000 HP, which is a lot at this point of the game and really balanced stats. Low magic resistance, so elemental attacks are your best bet. Put white characters in your party and use black stuff. Unfortunately, Miguel has quite a collection of extremely nasty attacks, both magical and physical. Count all of his constant buffs and debuffs I mentioned, and he's nearly impossible to kill without the right strategy. Holy Dragon Sword is by far the deadliest skill he will use. It's almost a guarantee it'll take down one of your characters. There is no trick strategy to beat this asshole. Just read as many tips as you can online and, well, I honestly wish you the best. No honorable mentions, guys, because like I said at the beginning, the game has a lot of really hard boss battles, so it'll be really hard to choose one or two as extras, honorable mentions. But anyway, that is my list, that is my opinion. Let me know what are the hardest bosses in this game that you struggle with in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!